See, look at that, perfect.
So depending on when this is done,
perfect.
I think I was the last one to do this. So, huh? Yeah. So that's just see how that water came out working like that. So what we're gonna do next is just turn it on. But we don't.
So wait, are you turning on? So you open it up for the murkiness. What if we just opened it up right now? Wouldn't it pour? We're actually, hey everybody, welcome. This is Firefighter 3 Cole Conte. He's a very experienced driver, and he is currently showing us a backflush for the engine. So I asked him if we could stream it, and he said yes. So
That can be too loud.
I might be, but whatever. They may or may not be able to hear. They know what to do. So is there a reason you have to turn it on into pump gear and stuff, though? Or can you just literally open it? Because it'll start pouring.
Yeah, I just turn it on just so I can see everything.
Okay.
So we can actually start this now. So Sandra, if you go to the other side, open up this valve right here on that side, and the water's coming out. So watch your feet. Hopefully, if somebody's been doing this on a normal basis, it'll come out clean. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Let's see. Oh no, oh yeah, look at that. So the reason, we're doing this, folks, if you wanted to know, I don't know if you can see how dirty that water was, but it's to get that rusty, nasty water out of there. You let all the, you have to let all your intakes run free first. That's actually probably a good idea. He's putting on those because that'll help keep him dry. So that's why we're back flushing this thing. So you do that to all of them. So, but Brightman, so we still need to start filling this thing back up. So Brightman, come turn on your hydrant. Make sure your thing is right, because we need to start filling up this tank.
He wants to dump it first.
I don't think we don't dump the whole tank. We're not dumping the whole tank, are we, Cole?
Yeah.
You're dumping the whole tank? Why? What if we get dispatched to a fire right when we empty the tank?
So this is coming out clear right now, which means that...
So that's good, yeah.
That's good. Well, what we're going to do next is drain the tank completely, refill it using clean water, cycle it through, dump it out again, and see what color it comes out. If it comes out clear, we know we're good.
But I still guess I don't understand why we have to dump it completely.
Because we're trying to get everything out.
But it's clean water, it's clear water.
But you don't know.
Well, we do. We can see it. We can physically see that it's clear water.
I like it.
See, it's a learning game for everybody involved. So this is something I haven't personally had to do before. Cole has been a driver for a lot longer than I have been. So I'm taking his word for how this is supposed to work, but I give him a hard time anyway. It's not going to take that long to fill, hey DJ.
How many gallons are in this wagon right now?
So I know right now.
Well, not right now. But how much fill inside the wagon?
750 gallons. So 750 gallon tank.
Coming out of the water.
So it doesn't take too long to fill up from a hydrant, but the problem I do concern with. So right here, as you can see, this is one of your gauges. We're halfway full now. We're about to be a quarter of the way full. That's why the second light is blinking. There's also another gauge right there that you can see. And I get concerned if you do something like this, because if we get dispatched to a fire right now, then, you know, we have an empty tank that we're going with, and therefore you have no reserve water until you get hooked up to a water supply. So that's kind of scary and annoying. But there we have this one on the other side, so we're running multiple at once. Whew. We should have one in the back, but we might not be doing anything with this one. Cole, do you dump the intake in the back as well? You dump the intake in the back as well?
No, is it coming out the back?
No, but should we?
It's not going to really come out of the back at all.
Okay.
Just because of the way gravity works, because that goes up. So the reason why we're using the side intakes is because, you know, they're at the lowest point.
Okay.
So water's just going to go out like that.
Oh.
So we don't have to use this.
You guys heard it from the man first. He said, because gravity and such. Hey, there's probably a reason where at some point you want to do the back as well, but it doesn't have to be right now. So now we got this thing charged up. It's closed still though, so until we're completely emptied.
For your viewers, you see how the water's coming out normally without pressure? Watch this. Watch out.
So yeah, this is actually just, yeah. Whoa! That's some, well that was probably in the intake line up front on the way out because we never flushed that one. So that would explain that. So what just happened there is right now we're running off of what's called just tank pressure. It's literally gravity pressure of what's in the tank going down. We have the hydrant open, but the inlet here past this is still closed. So this water is going nowhere yet, but the hydrant has a decent amount of pressure to it, and that's why he hit the button to start opening that inlet, which is what really started pouring that water through, because that hydrant pressure came flying on through the system, so it gives you a lot of pressure.
Yeah, now we're gonna put it in. No, where are we?
So as you can see, we are empty. That is bad signs on fire ground. Luckily we're not on a fire ground, and hopefully we'll get this thing going soon. But now you should be able to start filling it up, right? So now he's opening up the inlet, and we'll see these start to change again as that inlet is open.
Now, even if we're
look, you can already see we're starting to fill up again, and you will see.
That's our hydrant pressure is 50.
What fire is going on?
Huh?
There's a fire going on somewhere. We gotta check to make sure we dispatch of something. Yes, because we're good. I don't know what it is that fire's going on though. There's a fire happening right now somewhere.
What?
I didn't see. I was making sure we didn't get dispatched and we didn't hear it.
We have like 50 psi from the hydrant.
Is that it? Usually we have more than that from these hydrants, but this is always known as a weak hydrant. So, see how many minutes has it been? We're 3/4 full already. So we're coming up on, you see that little green spike? They do not take long to fill up once you get the hydrant there and open.
Well, I had this all the way open so it fills up. Well, now we're full. But first, and then what's that going to do? No, because I'm not using it. Put it back. I got it. No, just neutral.
So now he's running it again.
Actually, put it in drive. I want to see what happens.
Wait, what are you seeing what happens with?
Well, when you're in drive versus neutral.
I mean, no difference because you're not running the pump.
It's different RPM.
But you're not running the pump right now. There's that hydrant pressure picking up. A lot of pressure from that hydrant. And there's his cold baby. He was so worried about it getting wet. And look at yet he parks where an engine would park.
Lots of building. He
said he is satisfied. We're going to deploy the crosslays, and Reitman's going to run the pump panel.
I want to deploy.
So one other thing we have to do, so we're making a drill out of it anyway, is our...
Pump here?
Take out pump here because I'll have you start from like scratch. Not like, we don't need to hook up the hydrant again, like hydrant's already hooked up, but we start from everything. So these are our crosslays right here, 200 foot, 1 3/4 lines. Now the problem that we have right now is they're actually beep. Oh, beep. They're actually wrong. This nozzle is actually supposed to be on this end right here. Actually, it's supposed to be the whole things are supposed to be flipped. This one's meant for that side deployment, and this one actually should be for this side deployment. This one should be for that side deployment, and that's why these nozzles are in the wrong spot. They're kind of, they're on the wrong side, so we have to do them anyway. So we're just gonna make a drill out of it and actually deploy them out. So, that being said, we're about to get started.
Do you explain to your followers why we do this?
So, Cole, please enlighten the followers why we do this.
So normally on any type of incident where we need water, 99% of the time, but not all the time, we hook up to a hydrant, which is back there, which gives us our water. When we suck up water from a hydrant, sometimes it's not always clean, as we're fortunate with our hydrant. So sometimes we get dirty water that's sucked in, it circulates through, which gave you that rusty water color. Today wasn't as bad as how it's been before.
But it was pretty dirty at the beginning.
It was still pretty dirty.
Pretty dirty.
So ideally you want clean water in there, because dirty water is just going to mess up the gaskets. It could potentially throw debris in the pump. It's just, you know, it's good to do this every once in a while. I think I was the last one who did it. Now I'm the one who did it again. So
you're the last two who did it.
So it's a good sign though that the water wasn't as dirty as it was
You don't need
before.
to unhook that.
What?
You don't need to unhook that.
No.
Clean up.
Yeah,
No, because we're gonna still deploy the cross lights.
Oh, you're gonna fill them with water?
Yeah. Well, if Brightman can do panel playing, we gotta pull them out anyway. So
Okay, never mind.
let's.
Hey, hook back up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I'm gonna have to dump this water before I can hook back up.
Probably.
Whoever pulls it out this way, don't hit my truck. For the love of God.
I'm gonna smack right into your
I
truck.
swear, I just had my window busted. I do not need anything else broken.
I'm trying to see if I can get a good. I want you guys to have a good view of playing on this pump panel.
Probably.
And I didn't bring my stand.
Probably, you know, if you do it on my truck. No. There we go. So,
Guys, I hope you have a good angle right there, because I can't really tell. I'm pretty sure you do though.
so not all pumps look alike. All pump panels look alike. This is what our 2018 Pierce Aero XT pump looks like. Our pump panel, excuse me, looks like.
I've shown them. Okay.
Yeah.
There might be new people on there that watching though, but I have explained the pump panel.
So this is brand new top of the line equipment, which we're fortunate enough to have. So hopefully you guys get to see it in action, and we'll be back momentarily. That's where the fire is.
All right, 1, 2, 3, go! And you got to be doing some stuff too, buddy. You're running this from a pump operator perspective. I'm gonna pick you guys up now so you can see some of this stuff too. See, and she's shorter than the average person, but she's still got this. It might take her a little bit longer, but she's still got this. I think you're caught actually on, there you go. There you go. You got this. And now drop the skid. This one, I'm giving you a play-by-play people out there. So she's got that. Yeah, yours is really, I'm glad we're redoing this because something's wrong with that line. But, see, it didn't necessarily even deploy perfectly, but she still got it done. So you got one line calling for water. Bryman, you got one line calling for water.
What was that?
What are you gonna do? Two, right? Natalie needs water. Which way did she deploy off of? She deployed off of number 2 cross leg. Don't pull it out yet. You got get your pump on, get your presets going. You need to know what you're actually going for here. So go to pressure, hit preset. It's gonna already bump you up to 125, which is actually gonna be fine. Pull that out. There you go. That's one of them. So notice we got one line of these 2 so far running at 125 psi. We have a governor on this that's telling us we're going to run at 125 psi. Things get a little bit different when you actually run your second line. Excuse me. So she's good. He was doing a good engine driver thing, which is to help make sure these lines are not tangled as long as he possibly can. But when somebody calls for water, you got to get there and get them water, because that's what you're there for. You ready? Sandra! Water, yep, she called it. So now this one, so this is going to be interesting because he's going to pull this out as well. Woo. governor actually makes this one run at right around 125 too, like it should. Here's where it gets tricky though. Both of these lines are meant to run between 125 and 135. There's a line up front. This is the bumper line. I know it's really loud, I don't know if you can hear me. That line up front I just pointed to is the same diameter as these lines, the Vision 3/4 line, but half the length, which means it has less friction loss, so you need to actually pump it at a lesser rate. So if we were to turn, oh, no, it's not. If you were to turn that bumper line on now, which means I would pull my front discharge, if I pull this all the way out, because of the governor, it would also be running at 125 PSI, which is too much for that line. So unfortunately I can't show you because we don't have that one deployed, but you would gate it back, and I'll show you on one of these other lines. So all the way out, it's gonna run me at whatever my governor is set to up here on my 125. If I wanted this to only be down to 100, which is what you run the front bumper line at, I just push it in until it shows. Oh, you know what? She doesn't have this line open right now. So she doesn't have that line open. This one's open though. She's actually flowing this one. This one will actually change. There we go. See, now I'm running it at 100 PSI while this one's running at 125. Because look at the difference with where these are at in their open-close process. So that's how you would end up messing with that. And that happened because she shut the line down. So when you're not actually flowing water, you got a lot of back pressure in that line that you can't necessarily get rid of. So you're running at the pressure of the system, but it's okay when it's not flowing. It's when it's flowing that it matters. So this is this stuff going. And yeah, we're getting all the cars in the parking lot wet, but whatever, what are you gonna do? I mean, that's part of what you're here for. But this is fire training. This is how it's done. Just watch those windows. Yeah. Natalie's strong. She's gonna be fine in fire class. There's no question about that. I noticed that that's our pump operator right there. He's not by the engine anymore. As long as he can get back to the panel in a timely manner, the engine driver's responsibility on the fire ground is very early, very quick, with a lot of things that you have to do right away, because you've got to get out, get your engine turned over into pump mode, which I showed you guys how to do before. You got to get hooked up to a water supply. We were already hooked up to the water supply at the beginning of this evolution, but you got to get yourself hooked up to this water supply. And keep in mind, you have a tank of 750 gallons of water already with you, so you don't need a supply coming in from your tank yet. Actually, right now, we might not be filling our tank. I don't know why, because we're not. Oh. So we are completely right now just going tank to pump. That's why. We need to open this thing up so it's actually on. I started to cause a cavitation because I closed that thing off. Why isn't this thing filling up? Oh, our front. So we still had our front. So we've actually been flowing off of the that's why we're empty. We never opened this back up from when it was closed in the first place. So now we're open. Now I can open this up. And now, instead of running from the tank at all, we're purely running from the hydrant. So everything's coming in from the hydrant into the tank. We're filling back up again, and we're not even using what's in our tank anymore, which is, I mean, that's good. We'll have to talk to our pump operator about the fact that this inlet was still closed, if he didn't notice it or not, because it's, you know, it can be a mistake that could happen on the fire ground, and then you run out of water. Notice I opened that thing up, I thought I was pulling off the hydrant. I don't know if you heard that sound change. It was because I was like cavitating. There was no water, and I was telling it to send out all that water, but there was no water to send out, so that's why that sound started to pick up, and I was like, something's wrong here. Let me relook at this for a second. But that's what the engine driver's doing all at the very beginning of this whole thing, is they're trying to get everything set up and ready. Once you're set up and running, pending a mistake like that doesn't happen, once you're set up and running, you can kind of walk away and the scene is going to control itself. The engine's still going to be doing its thing. And so now people are, yeah, oh yeah, it could have been really scary if it kept, so we'll talk to Brightman about that. So I realized we started to go low on water, which we're actually still not full on water. I'm not sure why we're not full on water.
It's not all the way open.
That's not the...
we're running 2 lines.
This is the... Oh, we are running 2 lines. I turned this off so that we weren't hopping out of the tank anymore, that we were just coming from the hydrant. Well, I just wanted to make sure we weren't going from there. We were just going from the hydrant, and it started to cavitate. We never reopened up the front inlet. So I heard it start to cavitate and I was like, what is wrong here? Shut it off real quick and then, oh, okay, this thing is still open. So there we go.
To about 115.
Down the line to 115. So he wants to line down to 115. Which one's he on? Natalie's on.
Got that?
Radiator down a little bit.
We done? Tell him it should be, no.
What?
Well, there's a Oscar.
I can't really tell until you start blowing it, but it should be down to about 115.
Alright, thank you.
I guess I could have just turned on the RPMs, but...
What?
I could have just turned on the RPMs, but this, in theory, should be less than... I was showing them how to do different things, so I had her running at 100 and her running...
Should you just open it?
There just might be a lot of pump pressure in there. Let's put it 110. Now look at it. It's really weird.
Well, she just keeps opening and closing it too.
Hey, really, that plays hell on you trying to make sure your pressures are right when they keep opening and closing it.
That jumped up to like 150 for a second.
Yeah.
So you have two
That's
ways.
how this works.
You have 2 ways that you can control how much water is going down. You have your master pressure and then your specific pressure on each line. So if you have one line,
Oscar.
that is a...
That should be running at 110.
If you have a small line,
Alright.
you don't want to be running that over 125. But if you have like a 2-inch or a deuce and a half, you need more pressure.
India, Alpha, Bravo.
Well, that's not true.
That's not true.
That's the other way
less
around.
pressure.
Other way around, less pressure. And the reason you need less pressure, and sorry, keep hitting buttons. I think I banned Hey DJ on accident. Sorry, buddy, if I did. The reason you need less pressure is because the biggest determinant that you need the most pressure to overcome is the fact you have friction loss. And you have friction loss, since these tubes are smaller, water has to cram to get through this line, and therefore you actually have more pressure or more friction loss than you do in a bigger one. So for this, you're using a formula. Let's say it's 200 feet, what's called a Q squared formula. So for this is a 12 Q squared for this line, and your Q is a 1.75 on these nozzles. So essentially doing street math, you're saying 2 squared, or 2 times 12 is 24 squared, or excuse me, that is your Q squared. 1.75 squared, street math wise, is 2. 2 times 12 is 24, rounded up to about 25. Your friction loss with this line is approximately 25 PSI friction loss per 100 feet. If you're dealing with 200 feet of it, it's 50 foot of friction loss. However, if you got a 2-inch line, it's a 6 Q squared, you literally have half the friction loss, actually a little bit less than half the friction loss because of the way the squaring, or the way the 2-inch nozzle has a higher Q because of the pressure. But that's just some basic stuff. Sorry, it's I know it's too much for the average person, especially yelling in front of an engine if you've never actually studied this stuff. But that's why you have less pressure in a bigger line. It's because you need less friction loss to overcome. But anyways, guys, that is going to conclude this training. shut it down. I might come back later just to have a talk with you guys, but hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy the training, leave a comment. Let me know these things that you guys want to keep seeing them when I get a chance to do them. But otherwise, I hope you guys appreciated it. Say bye. There's our teacher there, Cole. There's Natalie. There's Sandra. There's Brightman. And guys, we will see you next time.